Welcome, this is the Delta Math solution tutorial. This is going to be covering vertical angles, adjacent complementary angles, the algebraic. Here it asks us to solve for the value of v for this figure of two intersecting lines. We have to see how these two angles are related. These two angles are related by vertical because if you take a look, angle 50 here is opposite to this angle of 6v minus 4. So they are vertical angles. And we know that vertical angles are congruent. Because they are congruent, we are allowed to set up this equation. 50 is going to be equal to 6v minus 4. Because these two angles are the same. That's the reason why we can set them equal to each other. Now we can solve. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. I get 54 is equal to 6v. Then I divide 6 to both sides so I can get v alone. I get v equals to 54 divided by 6, which is 9. 9 is the value of v. If you want to double check and plug it in here, plug the v back in, you're going to see. So 6, plug in the v, which is 9 minus 4. So 6 times 9 minus 4, that gets me 50 degrees. So that makes sense. This does have to be equal to 50 degrees. Okay? Because these two are congruent because they are vertical angles. So let's plug it in and see. Right? So we plug in our 9 that we got. And we are correct. Okay, they are vertical angles. You see how we set it up. We did the algebra, and that's how we got our solution. Good. Let's do a couple more. In this problem, it asks us to solve for the value of n. So let's look at the angle relationship between them. Zooming in, we see that these two angles are adjacent to each other on this line. Here, this angle and this angle, they make a line. Okay, that means that these two angles are linear pairs because they form this line. They are linear pairs because the two angles make a line. Okay, and that's what I denote by that red. Okay, do you see that red line here? These two angles together, they make this line right here. And we know that a line is equal to 180 degrees. This is the reason why I set up my equation. For n minus 8 plus 136 is equal to 180 because they add up to make a line, which is 180 degrees. So let's combine some like terms. We have the 136 minus 8. That gets us 122 here. Bring everything down. We get 4n plus 128 equals to 180. So we subtract 128 to both sides. We get 4n is equal to 52. Then we divide 4 to both sides. Then we get n is equal to 13. All right. Let's plug it in and see. Here we enter 13. All right, we did it correct. You see here that they draw that arc to indicate that the two angles are linear pairs, so their measure sum is equal to 180 degrees. They show the algebra like what we did, getting us the same solution. So good job. The last one is this, which is solving for the value of k in this right triangle. This are complementary angles because they add up to 90 degrees because of this right triangle. Let's see that. we zoom in to see that the box here indicates that it is 90 degrees. Okay. This allows us to say that these two angles are complementary. That means they add up to 90 degrees. All right, so let's do that. We have 47 plus k plus 1 is equal to 90 degrees, because again, we say they are complementary angles. Let's add some like terms. So 47 plus 1 gets us 48. Bring everything else down. So we add k is equal to 90 degrees. Now we subtract 48 to both sides. Subtract 48 to both sides. We get k is equal to 90. Subtract 48. That gets us 42. So that is what the angle measurement is for k. That is what k is. All right, let's plug that in and see. K is equal to 42. Right. Submit. And all right, there we go. All right, there we go. We are correct. The two angles form a right angle, so they add up to 90 degrees. We did it correctly here. Good. All right, so there you go. Those are all your solutions.